Welcome back to the LEC after this crazy day of playoffs. Rekkless, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on winning today. Let's talk about this series because they made you sweat hard. What made it difficult against Schalke? And what can you tell me about the way they performed today?
I think our difficulties today lied with just how we played together as a team. I think we did well for the most part in the early game, and we had, I guess in general, just decent early games, laning and everything. But when it came to like how we played for Drakes later and Baron and stuff, I feel like they just actually kind of did better than us. So I guess that's where they, to me at least, had like an edge, basically.
They come up with new picks. I also want to mention the Darius because I'm wondering, did you expect them to play this champion? And why did it take so long for you guys to ban it out?
So going into the series, we knew they weren't really a team to play tank tops like most other teams. But obviously the Darius was kind of new. I guess we saw Adam play it in the French league. Was that yesterday or the day before yesterday?
2 days ago.
Yeah. 2 days ago, yeah. But other than that, we haven't seen it. So it was kind of new. And I think we maybe just didn't realize how strong it was until later on in the series. Just how like easy it is for him to get stacks on the tanks and then snowball it on our carries. So took us too long, probably.
Yeah, it's never a nice thing when you have a Darius dunking on you, especially as an ADC. But okay, talking about the last draft, you banned out the Darius finally. You guys picked Seraphine, leaving the 80 mid for caps. You had 32,000 healing that game. Tell me about this comp and also playing Seraphine, because I remember you didn't like AP carries so much back then.
I guess I still don't really like AP carries, but I feel like when we play an AD carry in mid already, it's nice to not have another one bot. I feel like I just have to take the role as the mid laner in that game, and to me, playing a more supportive champion rather than like another carry champion is better for the team. And then obviously Seraphine is also like really strong. It's a better Soraka or whatever I was trying to pull off last year. So later on in the game, we could just play around my W, I guess my redemption, so to speak. So I think it just brings like sort of help to Lucian so that he can carry, because I feel like if I played another AD carry, he wouldn't be able to do so, or if I played another AP carry, he wouldn't be able to do so either.
I mean, and you had to adapt, and you did it really well. But did you expect that Schalke would ban so many AD carries throughout the whole series? I mean, you even had to play Sivir, which is not ideal, I guess.
So for the Sivir, I mean, I already apologized to my team, but I think I should probably not do that again. I really like the champ, so I want to play it, but it's not strong enough, sadly. I don't think, even with so many bans, I had to go to the Sivir. As you can see in game 2, there's still the likes of Ashe and Jhin that I could play easily, so the Sivir for sure was a mistake, but I guess I didn't really expect them to ban so many AD carries after like Senna and Tristana. I think for us, Senna is like a really specifically strong pick, which other teams don't really play. And Tristana is just generally good right now in the meta as a flex pick as well. So those two, to me, were to be expected, but them like banning 280 carries almost every 4 or 5 was a bit weird. I guess that's also coming into play then with the Darius, because normally teams then would ban like Sion, for example, for top, but they kind of wanted us to play Sion, I think, for the Darius. So maybe that's why they could put so many 80 bans. But in all honesty, I shouldn't have a problem with it. I just wanted to play Sivir.
You wanted to play Sivir. You got your Sivir game. It is out now. A quick question about this, because you insisted on playing the champion. How often do you maybe change the draft plan just because you feel like you want to play something? How free are you?
I think it happens mostly in 4-5 rather than first 3. I feel like usually first 3 we have kind of everything planned out, but when it comes to 4-5 you try to pick more for maybe what your comp wants to do or what enemy comp is bad against. And normally Sivir could be a good pick, but in this case when I pick Jinx I can't really lane, so I should go for a longer range AD carry. But mostly in the 4-5 is when I think you can spice it up more, sort of how we could spice it up with like the Ashe Braum in game 2, for example. It's something you could never pick 2-3, or would probably never plan to pick 2-3. But in the 4-5, that makes a lot of sense because it can counter like their entire comp, which I think Braum does in that scenario, for example.
Right. That makes sense. Now, I'm sorry about the viewers. I know that I'm going to ask this a lot this weekend, but we have you guys back on stage in the studio. I know you're a stage player. How did it feel to play with the guys on stage for the first time?
Honestly, I've missed this feeling a lot. It's just been amazing to be back here today, having such a fun series to play. Even if we would have lost, of course, it would have felt terrible in the moment, but just the atmosphere here is completely different. It makes it really feel like what you do is something great. It makes it feel like being a pro player is super great. So I'm yeah, I'm just happy that I can be a part of something like this.
We could hear Jankos from backstage. I don't know if you know that. That was really funny. It's really good to have you guys back and you back also, Rekkless. Last question before I send it to PGL. You will face off against whoever wins tomorrow, either Mad Lions or Rogue. Who do you think is going to win and why?
So we've been scrimming mostly both of them up until today. And I guess scrims are still scrims, so you can't say for sure. But before these 2 weeks of practice, I would have said Rogue every case. But I actually think Mad were quite impressive in scrims these last 2 weeks, and they seem to have come together over the whole spring split. Like in the beginning, they were a bit shaky, but even towards the end, they still finished third, I think, and they actually had a lot of good games. So I don't think it's as clear-cut as it would have been a couple of weeks ago, maybe. And for us, I guess, regardless of who we're playing, it's still going to be a tough game, as you could see today, even with Xhaka. So it shouldn't matter. We just have to focus on ourselves, make sure we're in good shape and ready for the bangers, you know, like 5 games, have the mental there and everything. So yeah, just exciting to get to play more games on stage, I guess.
Give us the bangers. That's all we want as viewers. But Rekkless, thank you so much for joining me today. Congrats on getting to stage 2 of playoffs.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. And we're going to take one last break and we'll be back in a few minutes for PGL with Grabs and Jankos. Stay tuned, guys.